What's up, everybody? This is Super Mike. We're going to be dealing with the replacement theory that's been going on. One of the worst things that these political establishment has done to black people is a lot of y'all have to see evidence of something that's already happened before you can believe it, which means you don't have the ability to see trends and prepare for something and actually prevent something from happening because you want to see evidence. And evidence doesn't come until it's already done. So the thing is, we want to go through some of that, how, we got plenty of workers, we got plenty of indigenous people who are paying taxes and working and doing their thing. But for some reason, the political establishment, especially the Democrats and just the white people in general that's in control, they don't seem to like the ones that's here already. They want some new people so they can control and manipulate. All right, so let's go through some of that today, and we'll deal with that.
Now more than ever, we're short of workers. We have a population that is not reproducing it on its own with the same level that it used to. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
This country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
Hola, ¿de dónde son?
People need to understand that this thing is happening, this collapse of the American system is happening. It don't matter what you feel or think or get mad, try to elect this one, elect that one. It's going to happen. It's happening. These people lived in Venezuela, they lived Guatemala, and they have been getting sabotaged for decades. And now they're coming here. They want to come here because they feel whatever that is a better, more stable situation, because America's been making their situation in their home countries unstable. So they want to go to stability. And black folks, y'all need to stop thinking American, because otherwise you're going to be caught up into failure with this whole system. You need to start thinking about doing something for yourself, scoping out your own territory, your own area of the country, and protecting it. If you don't want to think like that, then you're going to be going down with the rest of it, because this is what's happening. You are being replaced.
Anger was directed at city officials in attendance, including 20th Ward Alderwoman Jeanette Taylor, Chicago Deputy Police Chief Stephen Chung, and Family and Support Services Commissioner Brandy Kanazi. At one point, police had to intervene, breaking up an argument during public comment. Many of these residents say they no longer have any tolerance for the disruptive behavior by those seeking asylum here. It's making them feel unsafe.
They disrespect us, they rob us, they harass us.
And their patience is wearing thin.
Let me say this. They got one more time to deal with it, because otherwise, next time they deal with it, they're going to deal with it from the streets. We're going to take over it. Nobody's going to be able to stop us from what we're going to do to them.
Able to show up. With fall and winter fast approaching, Mayor Brandon Johnson is looking to move migrants from police stations into what the city is calling winterized base camps.
This is essentially like a Band-Aid to a gunshot wound. You are putting a Band-Aid on a huge problem at hand.
One potential site, the former Jewel parking lot at 115th and Halstead.
I think that's a bad idea.
They want to push this out of sight and out of mind.
But it's coming with pushback, many calling on the city's leaders to focus on the needs of taxpayers.
We are the residents of this community. And we demand that they do not put these people here. They're not even following the rules in the police station. What makes us think that they're going to follow the rules here?
Residents tell us they are in need of grocery stores, mental health facilities, and housing for homeless individuals. By the end of this year, the migrant crisis will have cost taxpayers $250 million. Reporting live in Roseland, Casey Cronis, Fox 32.
What's up? So, I did want to go over this. I was going to do a full show, but we'll try that tomorrow. We'll have a conversation. But the thing is, black folks, you got to get it through your head. We all do. We still got to work and do our thing in society. But you have to have the mentality, especially when you're teaching your children, when you're organizing your family, that the future is going to go to those of us black people who understand that, we are a group, we are a community, we have various religions, belief systems. We don't want to focus more on those things that divide us. We want to focus on the things that make us the same. We are the original people. We have, a history. A lot of it includes enslavement, indigenous history. We do live in this nation called USA, and we have a common, reverence for freedom, justice, and equality, right? So those are some of the things that we can unite around. These are the original people. We are from the original folks. That's the reason why we have a high degree of melanin. We have our kinky hair. Okay, so these are some of the physical traits that can unite black people, right? That's why we're black people. So in this nation, we were the bedrock of the labor force. The Democrats depended on us for their voting. And now these people now that we are, thinking more independently for ourselves, we're going to have to take these independent steps because nobody's going to carry us anymore. We should be grateful for that. But at the same time, we should understand that we have to move on our own. And these things are not a lot of stuff that we were depending on. These people are not going to do it. So we have to start setting up things for ourselves. Right now, they want to replace the black American voters and labor force with a Latin, what they call Mexican or mestizo labor force and voter. So we see this move. Of course, they're not saying it openly, but we see what's being done because, so you have the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. They got this under humanitarian situation. So the TPS, the Temporary Protected Designated Country, Venezuela. So alert on September 20th, 2023, Secretary of Homeland Security. See, this is your Homeland Security. What is the Homeland Security? This is the guy, he's charged with securing your borders. He is here to secure your home. His name is Alejandro Mayorkas. I wonder what culture he grew up in and has empathy for. Anyway, he announced the extension and redesignation for temporary protected status for Venezuela for 18 months. The redesignation will become effective on the date to be announced in an upcoming Federal Register notice. All right. So that's what he did. Okay, so also on 2022, he announced extension of Venezuela's designation for temporary protective services for 18 months. So it would be in effect so he did the same thing July last year and then made those folks good through 18 months through March 2024. Okay, so then he extended that for another 18 months just now, September 20th. So that's what's happening. So right there is Alejandro Nicolas Mayorkas. He was born November the 24th, 1959. He's a Cuban-American lawyer. So he's from Cuba. And he's a politician. He's been serving in the 7th United States Secretary of Homeland Security since February 2021, during the Obama administration. He also served in the Department of Homeland Security, first as the Director of the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. So he's always been over this. So it has their agenda downloaded in his mind. So he's continuing to implement the agenda that the Democrats have for him, which is to replace, the indigenous American workers, and of course the black people, the voters, and he's going to replace us, us with the people that he knows and loves in Latin America, right? So this is what that man, he's been doing that since 2009 at least. Okay, so we just wanted to get that out the way. And so Mayorkas announced extension and redesignation of Venezuela for temporary protected status. So this redesignation provides temporary protection from removal as well as employment authorization for individuals in the United States before July 31st, 2023. So the one that he did last year that was up March of 2024, it covers all of those folks as well. So they just got an extension. And so they keep the people on the string. So, the thing is, obviously they have to be getting messaging down there in Latin America, because these people come up here, they make that long trip. They don't do that for no reason. They're being told that it's a safe trip to make, and to come get your tax money, and they're going to be given employment. Now, the black folks, you're out here, striving and struggling for a job. Your young people are getting fired, telling us that we had to be bilingual and all that stuff just to be on the job. And if I cared about the survival of the United States as it is, then I would probably be very angry. But I understand that it's going to fall, so I'm not really angry. But at the same time, we got to get on our status as black people, because these folks, they're not going to be one to integrate us into their system either. We got to make our own system, and we do have a system, but we're going to have to start paying attention to it. This is where it's at. So that's why I keep imploring to everybody, get out of that Democrat, Republican stuff. I mean, we can still vote and everything, and we can still do our work and everything, but you got to realize that this is where the trend is going to be. So for us to be able to dominate and take advantage of the trends, then we do have to, we're going to be moving in this society, but at the same time, we have to be moving in it in a way that we can, protect ourselves and protect our interests and make a way for our family members, right? So let's look at some more of this redesignation. All right, so Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas today announced the extension and redesignation of Venezuela for TPS for 18 months due to extraordinary and temporary conditions in Venezuela. Now, like many people have pointed out, I only see the light brown or the white type of Venezuelans. I never see any of the black people, because they're very dark skinned, and black people down in this Latin America, they have more black people than up here. So it doesn't seem like it's so dangerous that the black folks get to come up. But let's keep it moving. All right, so TPS extension and redesignation are warranted based on Venezuela's increased instability and lack of safety Due to the enduring humanitarian, security, political, and environmental conditions, this redesignation provides temporary protection from removal as well as employment. See, they're going to get them jobs, bro. See, this is the business class, that employment authorization for individuals in the United States before July 31st, 2023. Temporary protected status provides individuals already present in the United States with protection from removal when the conditions in their home country prevent their safe return, said Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. That is the situation that Venezuelans who arrived here on or before the July the 31st of this year find themselves in. We are accordingly granting them the protection that the law provides. However, it is critical that Venezuelans understand that those who have arrived here after July 31st, 2023 are not eligible for such protection and instead will be removed when they are found to not have a legal basis to stay. So I'm going to put this on a side note because I had a conversation with a nutcase over there on Facebook. And as I posted this here, we're talking about the same thing. Joe Biden gave 470,000 Venezuelan migrants legal status, allowing them to work. This idiot says, misinformation again. Biden did not give them legal status. They had legal status by requesting asylum. I'm like, bro, this is an idiot. But this is what this guy says. And I'm saying, you are the misinformation captain. This guy, he's always defending the misinformation of these officials. And he says that, and TPS is a legal status. We just read that. This is on official documents. Okay, his argument is because they sought asylum, then they already had legal status. Okay, well, if they had the asylum legal status, some of that asylum legal status ran out. Joe Biden gave them additional legal status, TPS legal status. So it's still accurate to say that they were given legal status. But this particular person wants to be right. All right, back to the scheduled program. So, see, however, if they have, those who have arrived here after July 31st are not eligible for such protection and instead will be removed when they are found to not have a legal basis to stay. See, TPS is a legal status. It gives them a legal basis to stay. Under this redesignation, TPS under this redesignation must demonstrate that they are Venezuelan nationals or individuals without nationality who last habitually resided in Venezuela. That's very weird and deep. Okay, they can't prove. They just habitually, long as they habitually resided in Venezuela. See, who have continuously been residing in the United States since July 31st, 2023 and meet other eligibility criteria. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services will continue to process pending applications filed under the previous TPS designation for Venezuelan individuals with a pending Form I-821 application for temporary protection status or a related Form I-765 application for employment authorization. See? As of the date of the forthcoming Federal Register notice, they do not need to file either application again if USCIS approves a pending Form A21 or 765 filed under the previous designation of TPS for Venezuelan. USCIS will grant the individual TPS and issue a EAD valid through the same date. So basically, those folks that already had it, they're going to extend it. Under the redesignation of Venezuela eligibility, individuals who do not have TPS must submit the Form 821 application for TPS during the initial registration period, which would see, and it's just basically giving them the lowdown on how to actually, what forms to file so that these people can get the actual status. There are currently approximately 242,700 TPS beneficiaries under Venezuela's existing TPS designation. There are an additional approximately 472,000 nationals of Venezuela who may be eligible under the redesignation of Venezuela. So not only the 242,700 that's already getting it and probably working or doing whatever they're doing, they added another 472,000. So basically, you almost got 750,000 folks that just from this one country that's benefiting here. So, just so you know, and like I said, I have no problem with the people. I love the original people, no matter where they are on the planet. I actually just feel, bad that the U.S. and the CIA, all of these different agencies, have made such a mess of these folks' countries with the drug wars, with empowering all of the destabilizing their good leadership, killing their good leadership. I was reading about, Jacobo Arbenz, and I think that was in Guatemala. These people the United Fruit Company, just for decades have been just destabilizing the people down there. And so they don't want to live in their own beautiful country. They want to run here, to Chicago and New York, some of the dirtiest places. Well, Chicago is nice, but New York, ugh. No, bro, I couldn't stand no New York. And then this is what they have to do. And these people live in paradises, tropical climates, beautiful, lush, green. These are places we would go for vacation. But because, America has made it so messed up, with the country, with the businesses down there, these people, it just makes it very tough for some of them to stay. And then even some of those ones who can stay there, the ones that are coming up here, they're being told negative stuff about us so that they want to compete for our money, because they send them up here with a lot of racial negativity about the black people. They really do. So, and I'll show this picture. You could, just like it was a foreign national who blamed a black person because he raped and killed a young girl. They just blame the black people. So basically, the forthcoming Federal Register notice will explain eligibility criteria, timelines, and procedures necessary for current beneficiaries to re-register and renew EADs, and for new applicants to submit an initial application.
It's pushed back against plans to move in migrants in need of shelter.
Anthony Ponce has more on the heated discussion in Woodlawn.
Tonight's meeting was packed with many people not happy about the city's decision to go ahead and open up a shelter for asylum seekers without their input at a vacant elementary school campus here on the south side of the city. Now tonight, the city presented many of the specifics for the plan itself, but that still seemed to offer little comfort to many.
I am, to say the least, freaking appalled at this fiasco.
That Woodlawn resident among hundreds who showed up to vent similar feelings about the city's plan to open.
And notice how these city officials, they care nothing about the people venting, just like you, some crazy nut who has no power. So you just need to vent, But they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. They don't care nothing about your little venting. You know, black folks, you know, y'all really accept the idea that, you know, you run this and this is how stuff's supposed to work. It doesn't work unless you hold and maintain power to punish. And if you don't have the power to punish, you keep voting for, in a way, out of fear, then, you know, you don't have the power to punish nobody. Y'all gonna do what money tells y'all to do because you're scared. And that's how it's gonna go. So until y'all stop being scared and punish these people, then it's gonna keep happening and it's gonna get worse, because the thing is, you can't be locked into no Democrats, you know. That's why I'm good with the Cornel West thing right now, because even though I don't agree with a lot of stuff that he says, you know, it's good for black folks to get out of both of those parties. Get out of these Democrat and Republican mentality, loyalty stuff. We be pushing their agenda harder than they push their own agenda. And so that's why, you know, this stuff got to stop. So
open up a refugee shelter at the vacant Wadsworth Elementary School campus.
I'm especially concerned about loitering as well as solicitation that may occur on the campus grounds.
They didn't even tell us, the residents. They did not tell us anything until the last minute.
We will work to make sure that we communicate clearly with our plans going forward.
A recurring theme, what about the area's existing homeless?
This is beautiful. To go in and get a shelter for people, to help these individuals coming over here. What about the people who have been here for the last 20 years?
The work that we're doing for new arrivals is not detracting.
So, like Chuck Schumer said, like Joe Biden said, this is all because they are threatened that their European white people are not having the babies. They're threatened. This is a tactic that they want to keep their culture going on. They want to keep the workers happening. They want to keep the luxury that they have. But at the same time, they want to go with the LGBT stuff. They want to go with, you know, all of these abortion things at the same time. And it really just is dysfunctional. So they're the problem. They don't want to admit it. And, you know, that's the reason why we got to separate if we want to survive.
We're here, we're here, we're not going shopping. We're here, we're not going shopping.
We have a population that is not reproducing it on its own with the same level that it used to.
By 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics.
We have a population that is not reproducing it on its own with the same level that it used to.
This country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics.
Hispanics.